Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch. And for our database, we're going to talk about wheel bearings for a second. Now, greasing wheel bearings, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Some guys, I know how to do it with wheel bearings. I can do that. Don't tell me how to grease a bearing. I can do it all. I dig all that, okay? And I'm not going to tell you how to grease wheel bearings, but I am going to tell you something different because you're working with something you've not worked before. What is that? A 50-year-old wheel bearing. Could be. You say, how could that possibly be? Well, think about this. The rear wheel bearings, if you take your coach to a good mechanic, good quality mechanic, he'll pull that drum off and say, wow, this is just like a boat trailer bearing, no problem. So what does he do? He pulls the bearing out, maybe he puts a new seal in it, looks at the bearing, she's not blue, don't have any pits. Let's grease her up, throw it in there, put a seal and ship it. And that's what a good mechanic would do. Well, you could have had a good mechanic for 50 years working on this thing. You could have original bearings. Bearings, they'll wear out and burn everything up, then they know it's bad. But how do you know a bearing is getting old? Now, wheel bearing, if you've ever opened them up, the bearing is not a round ball. It's a cylinder. It's a cylinder, and it rolls, okay? Now, like I said, the good mechanic will look at it. It's not blue. If it was blue, it got hot. It's not pitted where it got some dirt in it and put pits on it. So he'll reuse it. But see, there's no precedent for anything working this long. Now, it's possible that you have original bearings in there. Well, how can you tell? As this bearing rolls, it gets smaller because the outside surface wears. Make sense? So it gets smaller. Not that bad, but I mean, it gets smaller. And as it gets smaller, it has more play. If you grab the inside cage and the outside cage on the bearing and go like this, if it moves a lot, that means that the bearing is small. It's been wearing a lot. If you go like this and it doesn't have a lot of play to it, that means it's a bigger cylinder. You follow what I mean? If you don't know the age of your wheel bearings, if you don't know, the guy, oh yeah, I'll pack those recently. No, not good enough. Bearings are cheap. I mean, you won't have 20 bucks in one wheel. Of course, it's 4, so that's 80. It's 100 bucks. But you need to know the age of your wheel bearing, your rear wheel bearing. You need to know that it's a full-size cylinder. You also need to know it's not blue and it's not pitted, but you need to know it's a full size. You got to grab it and go in and out. If it's got play in it, buy new bearings. Okay, your part numbers. All you guys get a pen. Okay, your outer wheel bearing and race. Part number is 151038. 151038. The other number is a 15243. That's the race and the bearing for the outer. Okay. Your inner bearing is a set. It's an A35 set. It's a matched set of race and bearing. So you get an A35 set. You get there's one seal on the back. That's an 8974S. So those are the 4 parts. Okay, you got 2 races, 2 bearings, and a seal. Okay, pound out the race, pound out the 2 races, put the new ones in, put the bearings in, grease them. I use a synthetic grease so it doesn't mix with water quite as much. You always put a new seal in. Now, the seal. When you go to put the seal in, put it level with the back of the hub. Don't pound it in all the way. Level to the back of the hub because you want to give room for that bearing. Make sense? And when you put it in, you know that big nut on the outside? That sets your preload. When you go to the wheel, grab the top and the bottom of your wheel and pull in and out. If it moves, that means that it's worn a little bit, and you need to tighten that nut a little bit to set the preload, set the pressure on those bearings. And you do that with that castle nut on the outside with the cotter pin in it. So you tighten that up a little bit. What do? You spin the wheel, you tighten it until it stops it. You back it off, spin the wheel, tighten it until it stops it, and then back off, and then get your pin to go in. All right? That's on the rear bearings. Now, when we get in the front bearing in a minute, it's a whole different ballgame. Make sense? Now, when you're doing the wheel bearings, you ought to do the brakes same time, because you've got the drum already off. You've done the labor to do that. Now, there'll be another video that we'll do about the brakes. But when you have the drum off, you always want to put new bearings in it. Make sense? All right. Now on the fronts. Remember we had that castle nut on the outside and we set the preload, right? We just talked about that. Well, on the front wheel bearings, that nut on the outside, you hammer that down as hard as you can. Because what it does, that nut does not set the preload. The preload is actually built in or machined into the hub and the knuckle. Here's your knuckle, here's your hub, and the bearing in between. They're actually machined in where the bearing has to be pressed into the knuckle and into the hub. If you have play, if you grab the top and the bottom of the wheel in the front and you have play, it's not the wheel bearing. That wheel bearing is tighter than woodpecker lips. What your problem is the hub or the knuckle or both have lost tolerance. The bearing has spun and it's eaten some of the material out, and now the play is usually not the bearing. It's the hub or the knuckle or both have play in it. If you have movement in the front, you got to go in. Now, say you check it and there's no play at all. It's going to take you 4 hours worth of labor to R&R that bearing. If you don't have any play in it and you go drive 5 minutes and it doesn't get hot, my personal opinion is I'd leave it alone, because it will spike a temperature, it will get play in it long before it fails. So if you test your front wheel bearings regularly and there is no play, you're good to go. But no reason to fake this. If you've got movement top to bottom in your front wheel bearing, brother, it's got to come apart. And you're going to need some parts. You're going to buy new bearings and seals. You got best part of $200 there. The hub or the knuckle, whichever one's bad, or both, those are $350, $400 sometimes. So you can see this is a pretty costly. And the labor, like I said, it's a good 4 hours to get in there, to get that bearing out. I'll do another video about the wheel bearings, so you can go check that out. But what I'm saying is, if the first thing you want to do in your front wheel bearings is jack up the coach. I did a video about shaking the front end, and one of the things to shake the front end, you grab the top and the bottom of the tire while it's still on and pull in and out. Okay? No movement, happy camper. Movement, you're going to have to go in, you have to find another video. Okay? Now that bearing is an A23 set. The seals are a 5109 and a 5123. Okay, so if you're gonna take the front wheel apart, you're gonna need a new bearing, because you're not gonna go through 4 hours worth of crap and put an old bearing back in. You're gonna put new outer seal, new inner seal, new bearing. Even if there's no problem, you tested it and you thought it had play in it, but it presses out and presses in and everything's tight, you spent all that money for nothing. Now the rear is a different story, but the fronts, you can actually tell the wear in the bearing, because there is only one spot, and that's a machined in spot. All right. If you're going to do the front wheel bearings, you're going to have the front knuckle off of the coach. You're going to take the ball joint, upper and the lower ball joint off, control arm off. You're going to bust all those loose. You're going to take the knuckle and you're going to put it on the bench. At 50 years, anything you touch, you should really look at very hard. With the knuckle off the front end, you can check all the other parts unloaded. the ball joints, the control arm bushings, tie rods. You can check all that stuff without pressure on it, with unloaded. That's the way you do it. And that's the reason really that GM said to check the front end every 30,000 miles. They wanted you to unload that thing, take the knuckle out, and check everything unloaded. Make sense? If you don't have any play here, you can check all those other things loaded. You can get enough test on them to see that they're good or not, and you may not have to take the front end apart. Because if you do have to go in there, you gotta understand that's gonna be some money. All right? The front end, despite what a lot of people say, the front suspension is not a weak part. But they do wear. And when they do wear, you need to put new pieces in. Remember, it's 50 years old. All the parts should be replaced. They can get expensive, so that's why I'm saying you need to test it. All right, well, that's about it on the wheel bearings. At 50 years, you need to replace them. Give me a call if you have any questions. Yeah, and do your brakes at the same time. Check the video for brakes. And thanks for your support. If these videos are helpful at all to you, please become a ranch hand. It's $5 a month, and I will enjoy making more videos for you. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.